Kate.
Hey guys.
How you doing?
What's up? High fives.
High fives. Come on. We're on the roof. Look at this place. This is awesome.
It's great, right?
Beautiful. The canals are back there. It's a great place to celebrate life.
I love Venice.
I love Venice too. It's the greatest place to live.
How long you been here?
2 years now. A pretty long time.
Pretty much a vet.
Pretty much a local.
It's true. Oh yeah.
So besides surfing, what are you passionate about right now?
Oh, a lot of things. I mean, during quarantine, it's been the time to pick up new hobbies, to try new things. So surfing's been a big one, painting. Really just the biggest thing has been like creating spaces where people can come and have fun and hang out and still be safe and responsible and everything. But I feel like so many people don't really have that right now, whether it's over Zoom or in person. So trying to just post different things. I had like a pumpkin carving party on my roof last week. I always do random things like that, Zoom parties, Zoom hangs. So yeah, just passionate about creating spaces for people to get together.
Right.
Yeah, so since we can see that you've had a lot of passions, and you've also had a lot of cool jobs. So yeah, how are those related?
I've had a lot of jobs. Growing up, I was literally everything you could imagine, like lifeguard. I was a janitor for my dad. I've done literally everything from like waitressing to nannying, you name it. So I've had my hand in literally everything imaginable. But
Lifeguard in the ocean or the pool?
Pool. Now you've seen me out in the ocean. It's not great.
Never know.
But for the past like 6 years, ever since I graduated from USC, I've been a TV host.
Okay.
But I was a freelance TV host, so that meant doing a ton of different jobs. I was acting, modeling, TV hosting all at the same time. Something different every day, different shoot, whatever it was. And then when quarantine struck, I lost all of my jobs. It was like 10 jobs that I lost because you couldn't really do shoots right now.
Yeah.
And it was only like 2 days that I didn't have a job, and like panic was starting to sit in, and I was not feeling too happy. I mean, I've juggled so many jobs for so long that having nothing all of a sudden was really scary to me. So I think my pastors could just sense that I was a little bit nervous, and they had me come and hang out with them at Mosaic one day just to be around people, to get my mind off things. And then a couple hours later, I went over to the McManus's house, Pastor Kim and Pastor Irwin's with Nicole Lewis. And while I was there, Pastor Irwin pulled me aside and was like, hey, we don't really have a job for you, but we're going to create one, and I want you to be on staff. And I was just so mind blown, I didn't even know what to say. It was just shocking to me that, in this time where I was starting to feel so like desperate for income, for community, that my church stepped in right away. And since then, I've been Pastor Kim's assistant for the past like 8 months. Yeah. But so yeah, I've been Pastor Kim's assistant for the past 8 months, and my passions through doing that have changed a ton, because I used to think that I just wanted to be a TV host. I thought that's like all that I was and all I was passionate about. And then switching to be Pastor Kim's assistant, I've kind of realized that my passions are a lot different than I thought. I used to think it was just TV hosting, and so much of my identity was rooted in TV hosting, but now I'm seeing that my passion was always like people, because when I was a host, the goal was always to have a big enough platform or to know enough people or enough money from all the gigs I was doing to be able to serve people. And now I'm doing that directly through Mosaic, like the school we're building in Malawi, for example. I've been able to have like a direct role in making that happen, and I'm like, wow, okay, so I can circumvent the process and just help people directly. So I've realized a lot through this experience that my passion is just serving and helping people, not necessarily TV hosting.
Yeah, what's really fascinating is you went from like being in front of the camera to now like you're completely behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How has that changed for you? Like, like, do you feel like your world's gotten bigger because you went from like spotlight to now I'm like helping, one of like the greatest leaders we know that's doing so many things, but also like building a school in Malawi.
It's crazy.
Because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't talk about it, but it actually is happening.
It's nuts because, like I was saying, like hosting was so much of my identity, and it was kind of that, like the recognition, the status, all the things that come with being in that world and in front of the camera. So losing all that, I mean, I was already moving towards this just through my relationship with Jesus, kind of shedding like the idea that I had to like be someone or be seen by people. But through completely losing it, like I've been able to completely like shift my view on that, and it doesn't matter at all to me anymore if I am in front of the camera or if I'm getting seen or whatever it is, because I'm doing so much more now that I'm not. So it just goes to show that even like the people who aren't in front of you or leading or right in front of your face are actually doing so much more than you can imagine too.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
So how are you celebrating life during quarantine?
I'm doing all the things, JohnThomas. I am having people over still safely. Let me just throw that in there. We're very safe. We use hand sanitizer, I swear. But having like people up here on the roof, outside.
80 people.
80, not 80 people. We keep it around
You don't have to
15.
say
No, it's okay. You good.
I'm like, do I say 6? I don't know. But yeah, just
Whatever is legal. That's how we
doing different things that I haven't done before, like I was saying, surfing,
Yeah.
just getting outdoors more
Right.
often, and yeah, just like being a part of this community and stepping into everything I'm doing with Mosaic. It's just shown me that life is so worthy of being celebrated, and Jesus has given me so much, so I don't want to just sit around and waste that life he's given me. So just doing everything imaginable,
That's
something
awesome.
new every day. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know for me, like during quarantine, there's been like a lot of things that kind of maybe I buried in the past, kind of like unearthed, you know, because you have all this time alone, and you're like, especially if you're a social person, you're like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
I need to have 80 people up here, and just kind of like, that's my identity. That's who I am. I want to be out there, or I want to be a part of. I want to be one of those 80. You know, you just kind of like. It can be tough, you know. So like, do you feel like you went through a season of like, okay, things are unearthing, and then I had to like kind of handle the like adversity. Like, how do you celebrate life in that?
Definitely. There were many moments in coronavirus where in quarantine where it's the exact same as what you just said, like sitting more alone with myself than I probably ever have. I was very busy before quarantine. Like I said, I had like 10 jobs at all times, and I was go from 6 a.m. till midnight every single day. Wouldn't even get enough time to eat, or I would change in my car, things like that. So I think a lot of the time I was doing that. While I just am a high achiever, I also was kind of like masking things from my past that I didn't realize I was or didn't want to deal with. So subconsciously I was constantly trying to hide that. So now that we have more time to sit with ourselves and think about these things are just naturally coming up, and they definitely did for me. And I had to like take a step back and be like, hey, this is actually a really good thing that I'm addressing these things for the first time. But at the same time, I can't just sit there and let it like completely weigh me down or destroy what's going on in my life. Because if you sit in something for too long, that's when like actual damage can happen. So I would identify what was going on. I would call a friend or mentor, pastor, whoever it was, therapist even, and be like, hey, I need to talk about this. There's things that are happening, things that are coming up that I haven't thought about before. And it was really like a really powerful time for me, because I was able to have those conversations with myself, have those conversations with God, when before I maybe wouldn't have because I was so busy. So it's like identifying, immediately moving into action, allowing yourself to feel the feelings and not just masking them like I was doing before. And then once you've overcome all those things, being able to then say, hey, like I want to be able to help other people do the same thing. So I'm going to step back out into the world, into community, start talking to my friends, call my friends I haven't seen in a little while, whatever it is, and share with them what I went through, see if they're going through the same thing, and help them the best I can with it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the biggest thing God spoke to you in that season?
But definitely the art of surrender, if you will, because I have a tendency to like want to control everything. It's just my Enneagram 8 personality. I want to be in control and get everything done, and God's constantly telling me, hey, like I actually know way better than you do, so can you just like please open up your hands and let me take control? And that's exactly what it was with my jobs. It was like I held on so tightly to hosting that when I finally let go, I now have my dream job that I didn't even know was my dream job. So it's just watch and see what he can do. Just surrender it.
That's incredible.
It's a good way to end it.
It's a great way to end it.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
for having us up here.
Thanks for coming. This
Hopefully
was fun.
we'll be up here soon with
For
a
sure.
bunch of people, like 80 people or something.
All 80
Maybe
of
some
them.
students.
Yeah, and some students. Come on.
Only when they're safe.
I was gonna say, oh, that was terrible. There we go. Okay.